Good afternoon and welcome to our Style Guide presentation. I'm really excited to be here today, and I'll tell you why. Because we're going to share with you some very interesting tools that will help you to not only do your job better, but to feel better about doing your job. We're also going to take a few minutes and talk about the intranet. How many of you have had a chance to visit the intranet site, not the LADOT public site? Okay, I see a few hands, almost everybody. Well, that's good. Earlier this morning, we had a lot of our new employees here, and of course, they had very little idea about what's available on the internet. So this might serve as a good refresher to you. But there's a lot of interesting things, including the budget, all the communication products, some of the MUTCD, a lot of information on the internet, and we're going to show you where the Style Guide is located. So again, the purpose of today's meeting is to help you understand why the department has put together a Style Guide. We have 3 guest speakers. The first is Michelle Groman. Michelle works for Ziesman Communications, which is a company that we hired to help us develop the Style Guide. We're also going to have Patricia Restropa, who works in the communications office, talk about some of the resources in the Style Guide. And finally, Jamila Ardoan in IT will walk you through some of the sign-out procedures and some of the new features on the intranet. So just briefly to begin, let me advance the slide. There's the clicker. Just move it forward. Patricia, she's up next.
I'm right here.
All right, have a seat, Luce. Come on down a little so we're not using a microphone. Okay, this slide here will be a mandatory second slide in everyone's PowerPoint, and the reason for that is when you go out and you speak in public, or you are addressing elected officials or other government agencies, they are not going to know all the different programs or some of the different programs that LADOT has. So if you're going out because you're representing signal design, for example, it will be helpful for your audience to at least know what our vision is, our shared vision as employees, and some of the different functions that the department performs. Next slide, please. Why is this change important, the Style Guide? Well, in our strategic plan, one of the issues that came up in both customer service and 21st century workforce was to develop a branding effort that would help unify the department. Can anyone tell me the number of websites that the department has?
57.
Close. 6. Do I hear 7? 8. 9. 9 going once? Do I hear 10? We have 12. 12 websites in the department. Some are dead, that don't take you anywhere. Some are inactive. And then we have some that people are aware of. So when people go to a website, for example, LA Express Park, do they know that that's part of LADOT? Not necessarily. So what we're doing is we're making sure that the LADOT logo, the new logo that you see pictured here, doesn't have the lines through it, is on everyone's website and links to the home site. Next slide, please. So I talked about the strategic plan and why we had to come up with the Style Guide and develop a branding program. We also want to make sure that the Style Guide provides everybody on staff access to resources. You no longer, whether you're good at PowerPoints or you know nothing about PowerPoints, have to create your own templates. There's templates that are loaded on the internet in the Style Guide that you can download, and then you can use our archives for pictures. It walks you through how to do the headline, whether you want to do bullets, etc. And that'll be covered in the presentation today. We want to support all the communications with city officials and stakeholders. We want to increase awareness about our organization. And we want to unify all of the LADOT programs and services. I gave you the example of the 12 different websites. Next slide, please. Establishing consistency, eliminating confusion, strengthening credibility, establishing uniformity, and updating our image are also reasons why we wanted to create a Style Guide that everybody could use. We're hoping it helps build a little morale, because if we give you tools and make your job a little bit easier, then hopefully you'll enjoy doing that job. Not everybody in this room is going to do everything in the Style Guide, but the Style Guide covers everything everybody in this room does. So to repeat that, maybe you're not going to do PowerPoints, flyers, bus banners, Maybe you're not going to hold town hall meetings. Maybe you're not a website administrator or contributor. Maybe you don't maintain a blog or take photographs. But everybody in the room, at some point in time, you've been invited because you either oversee people or produce yourself what we call public-facing documents. Everyone's heard of ADA requirements? They have to be incorporated into every public-facing document we do. We put those tools into the style guide. So think of the style guide as a resource that you can go to and get all of these different tools that you may need. Even though you individually wouldn't do all of the things I just mentioned, you might do one or two of them. So next I'd like to introduce Michelle. Next slide, please. And she's going to walk you through some of the style guide apparatus.
Good afternoon. Within the style guide, we've included templates that accomplish the goals that Bruce had just outlined. And they're really flexible, easy to use. Some of them were created in Word. We do have a PowerPoint template as well, which we're using today. And additionally, we have developed Adobe files that are for people who have those applications as well. But for the general group, you guys are probably going to be using Word or PowerPoint to develop your materials. The branded templates were really developed to be flexible for any type of content, whether you have multiple photos or if you have just big blocks of text. There are spaces that are flexible so you can design within them and customize things for your own content. You can add your program logo or initiative logo to these documents as well, and the specifics of where to do that are included in the style guide as well. Our intention is that you take these templates and really customize them for your own content. So in our branded PowerPoint, we do have some photography that's in there as a placeholder, but our intention is that you do use your own photography or photography that's different for your specific content. Additionally, we have established some design elements that have updated the LADOT brand. For instance, the large blue bar across the top, that's one of the design elements that you may see throughout, and I'll point them out as we go through. First up is our business card is now updated. We are using a small vertical blue bar as a design element, as well as a small black dash above the names. We have a gray background. It's a little bit hard to see here, but a gray background that's behind the Department of Transportation address and phone numbers. The cell phone number is optional, as well as fax. On the back, we have the service request URL, in case you're checking it out. Additionally, there's an alternate version with an approved program logo. So here we're showing the Vision Zero business card as an example. Here we have the fact sheet. How many people here have developed a fact sheet? So good amount of people. Now, if you are one of those who have an already very high-profile program or initiative, and you have an established fact sheet, you may need to check with the communication office to see about different usages for your version and for this version. But here we have the option to add a program or initiative logo. This one actually uses a downtown LA logo as an example, as well as it utilizes the big blue bar like the PowerPoint template. And we also have another design accent or design element, which is this smaller blue bar on the side of the photograph right here. And we encourage you guys to use color that aligns with whatever program or initiative you are working on or if it aligns with one of the Great Streets strategic plans, one of the, like a safety or livable, sustainable city. Thank you. So within the style guide, we have referenced some of the higher profile colors, and we have some LA Express Park colors, the Great Streets, different colors here. A well-run city, customer service is kind of like a maroon color, and we would like you to try to use these colors as the design element on the side of photography. Throughout, but we reference these so they're in one place you guys can all go to and find where that exactly is. We also include a press release template for those who create those materials. This is slightly different from the fact sheet in that it has a LADOT logo at the top, as well as additional media contact information at the top, on the top left, and that is customized for your specific group, while the contact information at the very bottom remains just the general LADOT contact information. Additionally, you can add a program or initiative logo to the top right, like you saw in the fact sheet. And we also include the boilerplate. Those of you who are familiar with that, it has just a very brief description of what LADOT does. The PowerPoint template. And this is used for all kinds of presentations. We do have, like I said, some photography in there that I definitely want you guys to change out, or everyone's presentation is going to look the same. The style guide contains information. It's a little hard to read here, but it talks about how large headlines should be for readability, and then bullet font size and that sort of thing. One of the things I forgot to mention is that we've established a uniform font for LADOT, and we're using Calibri, which is widely available on all Microsoft software. So that is being used here today in PowerPoint. The back sheet, the press release, business cards are all utilizing that font. We've established new email signatures, which we would like everyone to implement early next week. We are sending out instructions by the end of this week. Additionally, we're picking up the vertical blue bar in this example for the email signature, and the small dashed line above the names. For key visible programs, we're allowing you to add the program logo to your email signature. And this also includes the social media for the department. And they're already programmed, you just have to install them, and the LADOT logo clicks to the department's website, as well as the social media icons will click to those specific pages as well. Now, like Bruce said, there are 12 websites within the department, and in addition to the city mandated header at the top that contains this 311 search bar, we would like all the department websites to place the LADOT logo on the top right of the site, so that it'll be more consistent throughout the whole experience if you are going from one site to the next. And eliminate confusion if you don't know, if someone's coming in the parking table goes on and, oh, is this a real site? And it helps establish that credibility for the public. The bike program recently updated their website and have already implemented this as an example shown below. In addition to these other templates, we have outlined some examples of other materials you could possibly be creating for your particular business unit. Signs, flyers, and banners. We have examples of where you could place the LADOT logo in the gray box areas, and sizing and specifics are outlined within the style guide. Now, these are minimums. So if you are creating a flyer for a big event that LADOT is putting on, by all means, make the logo much larger, put it in a more prominent position. But if you are working, say, for People Street has a very prominent program, and they're very established with the public, then we would just like some brand presence so that everyone knows that People Street is part of LADOT. As Bruce mentioned, we have evolved the LADOT logo slightly and created a solid version, which for everyday use makes the layouts cleaner. It's much easier to read, and it's updated. It looks fresh. We have the blue version is the primary logo. We would like you guys to use that version if at all possible. However, if you are printing something that is one color and it has to be black, we do have that version. Or if you're going to be placing the logo on a dark background, there's a white version as well. We have the logos available with and without the tagline, because we know that the tagline is a great design element when used separated from the LADOT logo. If you're making a flyer and you want to end it with moving Los Angeles forward, it's perfectly fine to use it in either situation. We are still keeping the secondary logo that's striped, you guys are all familiar with. However, we felt the best application for that would be on large printed materials, building signage, banners, and buses. Within the logo guidelines, or within the style guide, we have logo guidelines that outline minimum clear space to keep around the logo. So I'm sure you guys have all seen rows of logos because there are many people involved in a particular project, and you just want to keep just a little bit of space around, and most other companies do as well. And this just outlines the LADOT specifics of how much space we would like to keep around it. Additionally, we have given some examples of misuses of logos, and these are just an example of things that people do and they get a little creative, but we would like to keep that consistency for easier brand recognition as the department is showing materials to the public. Patricia will go through additional resources that are contained within the style guide, and they are very beneficial.
So while they're getting put on the bottom, like what the city attorney's office sends out underneath their signature. Like that, Patricia will continue.
Hey, Bruce. Hello. I will quickly go over some of the resources we will have available on our style guide. In our style guide, for example, for correspondence, we will have available for you our letterhead, as well as our memorandum template. This is the official city's template, so it remains the same. To help us better communicate in a consistent and effective way, we created a section on messaging. This will include the vision and mission statements. We also have a list of compiled terms that are approved by management, so preferred LADOT terms, as well as terms that can be used for ADA communication. As part of the strategic planning, our department was tasked with creating a social media plan. Within that, we created a social media policy. This document has been approved and is ready to be launched. And for those of you that are authorized to post on our social media platforms, we suggest that you read this in detail. It's a lot of information. And to better help us communicate our graphic and printed materials, we have a section on best practices. I know that Michelle covers some of that. We will have our Flickr LADOT official account, available for you. ADA compliance, we know how critical this is for us to be in compliance, both for the city and our department. We have an example of language that needs to be used whenever you are preparing a meeting notification for the public. We consulted with the Department on Disability as well as ITA to identify some of the resources we needed to make available for you. So again, all this is going to take some time for you to review, study, talk to us if you have any questions, and we'll walk you through it. We're also learning, and we'll be adding resources to the site. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dawn.
So let me just spend a few minutes to tell you how to get to the files that Patricia has been talking about in a minute. The intranet site. You all heard about the 12 websites that we have, public-facing website. Luckily, we only have one internal website for intranet, LADOT intranet, for the consumption of LADOT employees mostly, but other city departments also have access to it. So, basically, the intranet site provides, it's a great resource for employees, especially if you have new employees, please refer them to the site, because it does provide a lot of information that's useful to them, including the strategic plan on the homepage, annual report. We have these quick links on the right side of the homepage that take them to the different systems and applications that we need to use for different purposes. But I won't spend a whole lot of time on that. First thing I want to let you guys know, some of you might already know, but to remind you is the easiest way to get to the LADOT intranet site is through Inside LA. So it's inside la.ci.la.ca.us, and most of you might already have that as your homepage, your browser homepage, especially if you're in the DOT network. So from there, you would go to department websites. Under there, select transportation, and click on Go, and that takes you to the LADOT website. Now, if you're not already signed in, you can go ahead and sign in. And what that does, it actually gives you a lot of that already signed in there. So actually, another page here that's not signed in. So if you're on the Internet Explorer, you would have the sign in over here. You can click on it, and that automatically signs you in. If you're in Google Chrome, which I'm assuming most of you are using as your browser. Once you go there, so in this case, if you're in Google Chrome, because SharePoint is a Microsoft product,
Head
it
northwest on
takes
East
care of
First
its own
Street.
browser, but for Google Chrome, it requires a login to eventually,
Head
it
northwest
requires authentication. It doesn't do it automatically for you. So the first thing you do in the username, you would type DOT /, which is basically gets you to the DOT domain. And then your employee ID, and then your password, the typical password. So, and then your usual password that you use to log into your system in the morning or to log into your Gmail, your city Gmail account. So that gets you into the site. Now, I should mention that a lot of the content is available if you're on the DOT domain especially. A lot of content is available without signing in. But if you want to have a few extra privileges, be able to open all the documents that you have access to, some of them we'll go over in a minute, then it's better to sign in. It just makes it easier, I think. So, okay, so that's basically the basics of how to get to the intranet site and the sign-in. Now, Patricia mentioned the style guide. So, first of all, a couple of things. To browse through the site, through the internet site, you have two ways to basically navigate through it. You've got your the top menu bar or the horizontal navigation bar here, and then you have the vertical sidebar over here. So either one. So if you click on communications, that takes you to the communications page, and this is where you have links to a lot of the information that communications group publishes for the DOT employees consumption. In this case, they've got a new folder called the Style Guides, that style guidelines, that has a bunch of folders that Patricia mentioned. ADA guidelines, policies. You open the folder, you get it's a PDF. You click on it, and it opens it up automatically. And it's, for example, it's a template. You can select it over here, click the checkbox, or click there to create a checkbox, and click on down to. So that reveals, once you select the document, that reveals the what's called the document library tools, or the ribbon that you might be familiar with in Microsoft Word or Excel. So what's selected is basically, you can see, the properties of the document. Some of the information here is grayed out because you don't have access to it, but if mainly you want to keep basically these three in mind. You can email the link to yourself with someone. If you want to share it with somebody, you can create an alert for yourself so that if there is a new version of the document, you can be alerted. You can email and be alerted about it. But over here, basically, for right now, is to download a copy. So you click on download a copy, and that gives you the save as. Now, depending on your browser settings, you might have it set up so that it just automatically opens and downloads the document. Then it will download it. But if you, basically for the purpose of the demo, I set it not to automatically download. So it gives you an option to save as, and then you can pick the folder you want to put it in, or you save it in, and then click on save, and that saves the documents for you. And you can go to. Now, this being a template, you want to basically copy and download it so that you can make your own changes to it and use it for your project's presentation or presentation.
How can make the screen bigger? Is it the blue property? The font is always a little too small for me.
You just hold the control bar, the control key, and the plus, and that enlarges the page. As long as you're on a website, that applies to all websites generally. And control minus always shrinks it. It's a little bit smaller. Okay, so that's pretty much it. The only other thing that I wanted to cover was the search facilities. And that is always available, in case you don't remember where the document you're looking for is at. That's available on all pages, from all the different pages on the website. It's always available up here in the top right corner. So you can click on advanced search and type in, let's say, transportation. That's what I'm looking for. So, oops. you can search for that. Now that would give you a whole bunch of documents. You could narrow it down by using these filters on the side. You can either do that using the advanced search, or you can do that from the sidebar based on the author and the, if you want the last, the document that was modified within the last month or last year and so forth. That would narrow down your results a lot further. Sorry?
In order to have ethics study, you have to comply to Title VI.
Let me tell you about that offline. So yeah, that's basically where the sideline, study guides, the style guides are.
Okay, thank you, Jamila.
Back to Bruce.